Mola Cherry, oh, la poesía.
Shango la poesía.
Yeah, yeah, Mola Cherry, oh, Baba la poesía.
Shango la poesía.
Oh, yeah, Mola Cherry, oh, la poesía. Shango.
Shango la poesía.
Yeah, yeah, Mola Cherry, oh, la poesía.
Shango la poesía.
Ding, 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 ding. Yes, I have heard that my ancestors was from Nigeria, and that is why I'm carrying the name Osuna. Deep inside of me, I just wasn't satisfied. So I did some soul searching and asked myself, who am I? Then I found out John African was my great-grandfather, and he was from an African tribe called Yoruba. The Dolly's from Fairboat Village, yes, that was my great-aunt. So in the name of Orisha, I greet you all with a chant. Yeah, Shango Baba Wa, Shango Lodo, Karile, Shango Baba Wa, Olodo, Kabile Sio. Hey, Shango Baba Wa,
A pleasant good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I'm in this kind of mood this afternoon, right? How are we doing this afternoon, and welcome. It is the 24th day of January 2024. Outside is mostly sunny, and the time now is 3 minutes past the hour of 6. Some persons might be seeing 1 minute past the hour of 6. Good afternoon to the persons on my Facebook and YouTube page. This evening I'm doing a little chanting.
I'm solo to marry, I'm standing firm on my roots. Now that I know, me calabash, me oil and me hobby. These were just some of the things.
Alban Harris, Clive Raymond, Miriam, Earl Bonaparte, Kathleen Lendo. That's the persons that are already on my YouTube page. How are we doing this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen? This beautiful, beautiful Tri-Island state. Grenada, Carriacou, Petit Martinique. Good afternoon. On my Facebook page, Red Girl Passer, Chris Saltito, Candy Sweet Cox. Good afternoon. The persons who are not commenting and that are there, good evening to you guys. God's blessings. Welcome to another class in session hosted by yours truly, Royalty James. The classroom is now in session.
I could reach the other side to meet with my ancestors and visit the river Nile with a voice like that great archangel. I could touch your soul, both spiritual and carnal. I could bring you transportation to Africa. I am an Orisha priest.
They call me the Amungwa.
Hey, Shango Baba Wa, Shango Lodo, Karile, Shango Baba Wa, Olodo, Kabile Sio.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Alicia Nuss, good afternoon to you, sweetheart. Angelo Map, good evening. Who's old enough to invoke some ancestral music in you right now? Cathy, good afternoon to you, right? Very early. Share the live right now.
In the street, when people stop to congratulate me, commenting on how much yes, the judges them robbed me. What the judges said to me didn't mean a thing. Because I knew long before last year I was born a king.
Chant wherever you
I
are.
sing, guys, so that's to feed my family.
Dance wherever you are right now.
Orisha is to pay homage to my deity. Alado ye abakuso, that's my tribal cry.
Kerry Cuts out there in Sateers.
And I'll explain.
Best barber.
I,
Good evening to you, brother.
I,
Kerry Cuts located in Sateers.
really
Close to Popo's restaurant, right? As soon as you leave Sateers and you're headed towards Grenville, it's just about 3 minutes away from the town. Drop right there. Ask for the barber. Kerry Cuts. Ladies, you can go right there. Alicia's Beauty Saloon. Get yourself a wonderful, wonderful hairstyle also. So good evening. We are going to make this evening interactive, right? You can either comment or call in. We would entertain whatever conversations that we're having today. We have a few things to discuss. If it's your first time listening, welcome to the classroom. Tag somebody right now. Let them know that Royalty James is on. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that was the voice of Michael Osuna. Calypso name Sugar Aloes out there in Trinidad and Tobago. This one called Who Am I? Welcome again, finally. I know most people may say, how much welcome? He go say, how much good evening? He go say, I'm going to say it. Good evening to Norman Noel out there in Maryland. Good evening to you. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it is another evening where we would want to have conversations. It is Interactive Wednesday. And Interactive Wednesdays, for the persons who might be here for the first time, you can call in. You can call in on WhatsApp on 536-5843. So you can add this number right now, 536-5843. Or we will be reading the comments in the comment section. You can even WhatsApp me a text and we would be able to entertain, because it's all about being interactive this afternoon. All right. So this evening we are going to bring up conversations, and we are going to have that level of conversations in this interactive session come this afternoon. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, our first conversation, first and foremost, we would like to do an awareness, informing persons that from the Ministry of Health, we have seen in recent days that they have informed that there has been a significant increase in COVID cases. So we're asking persons to continue to use the precautious measure that dates back to all the way in 2020. That protocol that was being established. We want to ensure that we say to you guys that you keep that same level of caution. All right, somebody's asking me, hope your daughter is good. Yeah, my daughter is fine. My daughter is fine. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, let's start that conversation. What is the first conversation that we want to be interactive about this afternoon? Ladies and gentlemen, well, first and foremost, let me start by reading one of the excerpts that I would have taken from Facebook today. Right, that is from the Facebook page, Let the Truth Be Told Now, One Voice. And I read one of the comments or the status that was made available to us, and I don't know how many of you all may relate, but I really do want to say that is one of the pieces that I read that I really did enjoy. And it says, there is no comparison between Dr. Mitchell and Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell. In the realm of leadership, the stark difference between Dr. Mitchell and the Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell are evident. Dr. Mitchell's decade of dedication and service, marked by genuine concern for all citizens, have left an indelible mark on Grenada. In contrast, Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell, a relative newcomer, lacks visibility and appears more focused on self-promotion than national building. Dr. Mitchell's legacy as a servant leader and nation builder resonates throughout the region, earning him respect. His grassroots approach, connecting with people from all walks of life, stands in contrast to the current Prime Minister, enlisted circle of aloft demeanor. While Dr. Mitchell discreetly contributes to the less fortunate, Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell, penance for broadcasting actions overshadows his leadership. The enduring success and legacy of the New National Party under Dr. Mitchell's leadership highlight the contrasts with the current administration. Despite legal victories, Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell lacks a tangible legacy. An attempt to discredit his predecessor reveal the hollowness of the leadership. In Grenada's history, Dr. Mitchell stands as one of the most successful leaders, leaving a legacy of transcending political transition and underscores a lasting impact of true leadership. What is your take on this? What is your opinion on that piece that I just read? Are you of the belief, just so as the writer, that Dr. Mitchell's leadership, as opposed to the present Prime Minister's leadership, differs greatly as it relates to his ability to want to interact with people, as opposed to the present Prime Minister's position on this? Somebody is saying, well, when all talking Dickon, or you can talk legacy, Dickon and start to work yet. Right? So somebody sharing the opinion that they believe that the present Prime Minister has not even started the official job of a Prime Minister as yet, and so that is the opinion in which they stand by. So what is your take on this? Do you believe that this present Prime Minister is actually in a position to walk in the footsteps of his predecessors, in that of the past Prime Minister and political leader of the New National Party? Do you believe that the present stance that he's taking in terms of leadership would cause him to supersede Dr. Mitchell's reign as a Prime Minister at this stage? So you can comment in the comment section, you can call in, you can send me a WhatsApp, whatever it is, and we would be able to discuss on that conversation. The other conversation that we have carded to speak on today, ladies and gentlemen, and I don't know how many of you all would have noticed it, there was an unveiling of the founding fathers of Grenada's independence. And so today, again, ladies and gentlemen, with one of the events that has been carded as to recognize our 50th independence, again today we see Miss Tessa Sincere. Again we see Miss Tessa Sincere making herself present in the unveiling of a billboard of the late Sir Eric Machugeri. Now, I remember last week we did have conversations concerning that. Somebody saying, please so not speak on the officer in the CBI unit. You will be shocked to know what is happening. A word to the wise is sufficient. All right. All right. Thank you. All right. It alarms me to again see the presence of Miss Tessa Sincere in one of those events. And I remember last week, for many of us who looked at Sister Jenny's program, and many other persons are of the opinion that this present administration is making our 50th independence anniversary celebration more politically affiliated than anything else. The 50th independence celebration in Grenada, definitely it is not, and I repeat, it is not, I don't know, for some reason, the connection, I don't know how many of you all are still seeing me, but I am seeing on Facebook. I want the persons on Facebook to indicate to me whether or not I'm still being seen. All right, so, all right. All right. All right. I guess I'm back. I don't know if it was sticking or whatever was happening. I don't know. I would like for the persons on Facebook especially to indicate. And somebody is saying in the comment section, I don't want to go too far. Number 10 did that because Michael Batiste called her out on Facebook. All right, somebody saying they're saying, right? Called out on Facebook. She should do so. All right. Eric Matrugeri is a national figure who somebody goes on to say who is Tessa Sincere. And people, I want to make this abundantly clear. There is absolutely no reason at this stage of our independence celebration, 50th independence celebration, that this should be politically driven. In the constituency, or should I put in the parish, not in the constituency, but in the parish of St. Andrews, there are 4 constituencies in which, at the end of the last general election, the new National Party had acquired 2 of those seats. The National Democratic Congress acquiring 2. Now, if you're doing such a national unveiling as it relates to the residing area of the founding father of independence, whether or not you're saying to me it is not in the constituency of the particular area, and I'm subjected to correction because I think the Dunfermline area, I cannot vividly remember whether or not that is an area where I think, or I want to believe, well, 3. It was 3 out of 1 because it's Delma Thomas. It is 3. They didn't win 2. It is 3. Or am I subjected to correction? I'm trying to remember. It is Delma Thomas, Kate Skeeter Lewis, and Miss Pear. Those are the seats that was owned by the new National Party in the St. Andrews area. Right? And they would have won 1. Right. So, in all fairness, the new National Party, thank you very much, 3 seats was earned by the new National Party. Now, if you're doing something of that nature, and again, I see no issue in inviting all the, listen to the word, all the parliamentary representatives within the St. Andrews area. All the parliamentary representatives, not persons affiliated with the National Democratic Congress. All parliamentary representatives should be invited to something of this nature. And we continue to see during this entire time that this political organization, in us at this stage celebrating our 50th anniversary celebration, continuing to politicize things, and for God knows why. Because you can't say to me that even if you wanted a moderator, somebody to chair the event, should not have been Tessa Sincere. Plain and simple. And I'm certain that if you go back to the clip I am certain she's not the moderator. So my question is why it is that we still continue to see persons that are more affiliated with a party or the party doing things surrounding our 50th anniversary, as opposed to getting every Grenadian involved in this showcase and in this celebration at this stage. At this stage, ladies and gentlemen, the question is that whether or not Ms. Tessa Sincere and other affiliates of the National Democratic Congress should be a part of the celebration, getting preferential treatment before parliamentarians. Ms. Tessa Sincere has nothing to do with the present government. She's affiliated with the party. So if the party has an event and they want to extend whatever invitation to her to do whatever, fine. But there is a vast difference between government's involvement, or I shouldn't say government, because this is a state event. So if parliamentarians and ministers of government are involved in whatever, I see no issue with that. But when you start getting involved, when you start getting your party goons and your party partisan involved, then you're bringing this into a whole different light, ladies and gentlemen. And persons who always say it, and you see, when you speak those things, they tell you, you're petty. NNP want to be a part of everything because NNP forms the parliament of this country. The new National Party has members within the parliament throughout the length and breadth of Grenada. So their involvement in the 50th anniversary celebration is important. It is important because at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, they are representing the state. There are persons who elected them to be there, and they are Grenadians. And if you look at in some areas where there are parliamentary representatives of the new National Party, you realize that little or nothing is being done. And for example, I'm using River Road. For example, I'm using River Road. In areas where you know little party, where NNP would have one seat, you're seeing little or nothing happening in those areas. The question on Facebook is being asked also whether or not that we're carrying the colors in the proper way, because we're seeing a display of many of the lampposts displaying the national colors, and questions are being asked, ladies and gentlemen, questions are being asked whether or not we are carrying the colors in the proper way. Is it yellow, red, and green? Is it green, yellow, and red? Is it ice, green, and gold? Again, and mind you, I'm speaking, but take the notes so that whenever you start getting interactive, we have conversation to speak on. Right? Somebody saying GIS was still covering LACO signing unveiling. And then somebody responded exactly. GIS even watched number 10 and them. It is because they don't want to highlight Gary on a national level. Again, ladies and gentlemen, even what we're seeing happening in the northwest area, even what is happening in the northwest area, it is laughable. It is laughable because you're seeing things laminated in that area, Max and George's Northwest. So I don't know if is the National Democratic Congress Northwest branch that are doing certain things. But even if that is being done, there must be an involvement of the parliamentary representative within the St. George's Northwest. When you're unveiling and opening certain things, when you're unveiling and looking at certain things and you're looking in certain areas, like the two bus stop or the two bus sheds in Fountainoy, because at the end of the day, that bus shed is only for persons that are going up. Those bus sheds are for persons that are leaving the area to go up. There is no bus shed for persons to go down. Right? So my question is, if you're unveiling or you're opening a bus shed within the Fountainoy area, St. George's Northwest, it is only evident that you extend an invitation to the parliamentary representative. It is only proper protocol. If it doesn't come, then fine. Plus, you're seeing so many black and white, and somebody just mentioned it. So many black and white in the place. The discussion of the independence celebration this year is not, let me remind you guys, it is not a politically driven event. It is a national event that consists of every Grenadian. Every Grenadian. The celebration that needs to happen in Grenada must have everyone involved. You know, if you have your special committees and so on, and you want to put your little friends inside, it, fine. That is all up to you. Nobody's asking that you take a set of NNP and put them on your board. But when you have events surrounding the name of the 50th celebration, it is evident that what you all are doing is basically making this a yellow party celebration. And it is not that. Because it is important that you know that on Independence Day, one of the things that you don't do on Independence Day is this.
February the 7th is considered to be Independence Day here in Grenada. And I would see many of our people dressing like clowns.
So we don't want you doing that. We don't want you doing that. So at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, the important conversation is that we get involved in the whole celebration thing. Involve us so that we don't have to take ourselves and dress like clowns. Involve us. Get us involved. Because why? Tell them why. Tell them why.
As usual, green, red, and gold. I mean, they would make all kinds of costumes and sing all kinds of songs. Many of them still wallow in poverty.
You understand? We don't want that to happen. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we really don't want this to happen. Right? So let's get interactive. Let's get interactive. Let's have conversations. When I say that many of you guys that are commenting when I'm speaking, you all tend to step back or sit back. So we have the conversation of Tessa Sincere, her involvement in so many things. All right. First comment this morning, I listened to Shaggy's program and Miss Anne said that Honorable Keith Mitchell's name must be recognized. Well, I mean, this goes beyond saying. I don't think we as a people or maybe supporters of the New National Party or anywhere I mean, the celebration committee or the person writing the Prime Minister's speech must, as I stated earlier on in one of my programs, must mention Dr. Mitchell's name in that whole statement there at least 23 times. At least 23 times. The conversation of whether or not Dr. Mitchell should be recognized in our 50th anniversary celebration is not a question. This is not asking whether or not this should be done. When you look at sporting activities, and many of us who might have watched basketball and so on, when you look at big events like NBA Finals, Will Chamberlain and Michael Jordan's name is being called. Not because they just want to call the name, because they recognize who are the greatest of all times during the stint of the NBA. So within his speech, the person writing the Prime Minister's speech ought to include Dr. Mitchell's name there 23 times. That every time you use some form of punctuation, the next name to be mentioned is Dr. Mitchell. So when you speak that this country have developed in the years through 50, you must say through the great leadership of Dr. Keith Mitchell. If you say we have seen sporting icons, after saying that, you mention Dr. Mitchell. If you speak of the National Stadium and its building, you talk Dr. Mitchell. If you speak tourism and its development, you speak Dr. Mitchell. So whatever you say on the day during your speech, every time you speak of its development and the people that cause it to be there, you ought to mention Dr. Keith Claudius Mitchell. So maybe that is an advice to the person who's writing the speech now. That every time you speak something of development, be it electricity, be it water, be it sports, be it housing, whatever it is, whenever you punctuate, the next name to be mentioned is Dr. Keith Mitchell. I don't find the person that is writing his speech, or even he is writing his speech, should in his mind think that he should not mention anything else. Hey, you are celebrating a 50th independence celebration, and the living legacy that stays within the years is still alive. Hey, what did I say? Give me flowers while I'm alive, not when I'm dead. 23 times. Even if you get your speech, Dr. Deacon Mitchell, and you realize you don't see Kid Mitchell named 23 times, give them back. Give them back. Say, listen to me, this is an incomplete address. Let them know that. So you mentioned Eric Matthew Gary, you mentioned Maurice Bishop, you may mention Howard Blaze, once or twice. But you need to mention Dr. Mitchell's name 23 times within that. Not me that say, history will tell you that. It is there in the history book written. This is not me making up that, From 1974 to date, Deacon Mitchell, if you don't know and you check your history and you ask any little child in an exam who has been the longest serving Prime Minister in Grenada, they will tell you who it is. Not me. If they ask you one of the persons or the parliamentary representative that have represented this constituency the longest, and you ask the question to pose, the answer is there. You would hear Keith Claudius Mitchell. If you ask who's one of the leaders within the Caribbean who has served the longest in his country, again the name Keith Claudius Mitchell would come up. If you ask who's one of the prime ministers that have faced two natural disasters and a pandemic, the name Keith Claudius Mitchell will come up. So the 50th independence celebration, and anything you want to mention, whenever you mention it, you would have to call that name. So you speak about Ivan and the development after Ivan and Emily, Keith Mitchell. COVID-19 and our development after COVID-19 in terms of keeping an economy together? How you could not call how you what you are just write them people speak for them? How you could not call that name? You can't do call that name on the day, brother. Even if you don't want to call it, it is there. The history books will show you that. You can't take it out there. Right? Somebody saying, when will it end? NDC continue to insult us. Barrel people, greedy, dogs, commoners, dons, and no clowns. They look at Grenadian people as utter incompetent. Right? Somebody goes on to say, they can do what they want. Keep Claudius Mitchell sit down on the chest like dry blogger. Listens facts. Big stone pelting in the NDC camp. People get registered. Right? Yes, you can run from that, people. You cannot run from that. And if you go back, and don't afraid to teach your children, you know. Tell your children. Somebody saying the entire wall thought Grenada went back 40 years after Ivan and Emily. He showed them that he is the boss. You say that and you make me skin raise. When persons viewed Grenada, I remember my older sister in Canada, when she called and first got in contact with us after Ivan, Shondell was in tears. Bitter tears. And my mommy, who was a prayer warrior at the time, said, "Oh, don't worry, God is going to get us through this." And I was like, yeah, God was going to get us through this. But she didn't mention Kit Mitchell would have helped. So we know God was going to get us through this. But with the leadership of Dr. Mitchell, ladies and gentlemen, the PM is looking for self-recognition in the 50th anniversary. But the 23 years of Doc are solid and cannot be read. You can't take it. Let me tell you something. When you speak independence or 50th independence, and you mention Eric Matthew Gary as a political leader and prime minister, you say that he has earned it. Fine. You give a thumbs up. You speak Maurice Bishop. You speak Philman Thomas. You speak all these persons that have served as prime ministers. But when you mention Keith Mitchell's name, don't stop there. Don't stop there. Danny Richie said, I think you should wait until after February 7th to make your speech. I don't think they will leave out Keith Mitchell's history. He's not leaving out, you know. At this stage, in all that is being unveiled and unrailed, and on, at least we need to see a billboard of Dr. Mitchell. We need to see that. At this stage, you're saying that they will not leave him out in the history. He not leave out. We want his full recognition. Are you understanding that we are celebrating 50 years? And this man falls shy of only 2 years to make half of the amount of years that we celebrated. His political years goes, I think, about 30 somebody. I am subjected to correction. Anybody knowing this somebody, tell me. But I think it goes on about 30 something. So we're speaking about his leadership as a prime minister. Think about his dedication into politics in Grenada. How many times his party might have lost and remained the political leader, coming back victorious. Somebody saying 35 years. So imagine that. We have a politician that still sits in the House of Parliament after 35 years. 35 years. His political years is from 1984. 40 years. But somebody, let me get it right in the class. So we are in 30 and we are in 40. But we're saying to you, this gentleman still sits in the House of Parliament. It's like you're still watching Pele play football. And not just playing football, you know. He's playing football and still giving the younger ones. He's still giving the younger ones trouble. Pele still scoring goals and putting the younger ones to rest when he calls certain play in the House of Parliament. The Caribbean have never seen in any political history, any political organization like the New National Party, only not once, not twice, 3 times landslide victories. It has never happened nowhere in the Caribbean. And I'm saying to you, the gentleman name I am mentioning, he did it on 3 occasions as the political leader and prime minister. Lost in 2008, came back and won back-to-back 15. Man, you talking that. Listen to me. When you speak history of Grenada, and as we celebrate 50 years, if all you, listen to me, and now look at me next, I go to print some ClassRoom Kid Mitchell jersey. All you find? We got to print some ClassRoom Kid Mitchell jersey. And when we put the jersey, we give the history maybe at the back of the jersey. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot erase that history that I just gave you. There's nothing I make up. That is nothing I sit down and I make up, you know. There are persons old enough within the state to acknowledge what I just said. So somebody say he gave 40 years, 50 years. Celebrating 40 years as a politician, 23 of this as a prime minister, the only political leader and prime minister in the Caribbean. And if we hear that, to have won after a loss 215 seats. Well, Charlene, he remind me of the House of Creation vehicle. Bad. Because this, ladies and gentlemen, is what you cannot erase. That is what you cannot take out. So all the beautification and the thing and you paint up there and you're making place look nice. That's not what we want. Our children needs to know the history. And remember last week me mentioning that we should have had a place where those history, maybe if every night or maybe on Facebook, where we can go and you can do a nice historical viewing. Somebody make an order for a large already. You guys. Somebody saying he got the most fight. It takes a strong man to take all this fight and still be committed. Right? There is a song that says the strongest soldier get the hardest fight. In the year 1984, he was elected as a representative for St. George's Northeast. So from 1984 to date. Right? So we actually correct as it relates to the 40 years. Right? 40 years. Still sits in the House of Parliament. Still the leader. Alright? Of the competing political parties in Grenada. Still know to calculate that $25 million is unaccounted for in the Ministry of Health from last year before's budget. Brain, number. You understand me? Some persons from the time they know themselves, they have always elected the New National Party. The persons who I'm talking about, take a bow. Because you too, persons are calling their sizes in the comment section. Take a bow also. The persons that have been there, that every time Dr. Mitchell, because I know there are persons old enough for the live. I want to big up on yourself. I give them some likes now. Or you press the like button and so on right now. To the persons who have been true to the New National Party for that 23 years of leadership. You voted him since then. From since then, all you take a bow. Press the like buttons for them right now. Because they have been there They know what we're talking about. Some people, since the first stroke, they could have made. The first stroke they could have made. I remember the first time I voted in Grenada. I walked into the area, and what hurt me most is that when I had to use the ballot paper very close to Dr. Clarice Modest was the name Osman James. My uncle, may his soul continue to rest in peace. And he was the candidate for the National Democratic Congress. And I paused. Because when it comes to family, I'm deep. For the persons who know me, when it comes to family, I'm really deep. You see, when it comes to country, brother, I'm on a different scale, man. I would love my family, but if you're not in the green color, as old people say, crapo, smoke your pipe. I folded the paper in the manner in which they gave me, and showing that I did not see his name anymore to contradict my thoughts. And as they say, sorry, in local terminology, I rammed the eggs by the house. And since then, ladies and gentlemen, I have not placed it anywhere else. So big up the person that have been stroking it by that house like a nail, like a piece of plywood. Yeah, Katya, and I say, listen, me, you know how to give the paper folded? I said to me, let me not contradict my thoughts. Because I love you, uncle, as a family member, that you keep the family together. But when it comes to country, there is one person I believe that can do this, and it is Dr. Mitchell. Unfortunately, though, I think we lost that general election that was in 2008. Yeah? Yeah, you look at me so as a young fella. Somebody said Dr. Mitchell already made history. Youngest prime minister, but there is things you should. Alright, I like to read all the comments, Commando Bash, but there are things that you said here, I agree with you. A billboard should be placed for Doc. And you see honesty, you see when people come in the classroom and say things like this, you know, it gives me motivation that there are still Grenadians out there that are open to a sane political conversation, right? But when you speak youthfulness, I don't see that as an impact to country's development. This is it is a political history to be written that if asked, right? But you hear speak things like development. I spoke national stadium, I spoke electricity and developments, and this is what the history I'm talking about. I'm not speaking about Dr. Mitchell being just being there for the time and the period, but the impact made in various areas. Various areas, ladies and gentlemen, right? And I remembered, let me say this, I remembered one of the persons I've always said to myself that as a National Democratic Congress member, I would have wanted to vote for was Peter David. I've always told myself that. Always said that to myself, even when Brother Peter David was on the other side. And I said, I always wanted to, I like that man, I wanted to vote for him. And I remember when he came over in 2013, I said to myself, let me find out, because every time I'm leaving on Cemetery Hill, and I said, let me find out what I have to do to vote for this gentleman. And I went and I told Dr. Modest, I said, listen to me, I love you, but we had that already. I said, no, St. Mark's, since about 5:36, we declare. But them time there, I said, you know, the brother just came across, but Peter David just came across, and I said, I want to make sure that we sung that one. Like that one stay day. So I switched my vote and I came to St. George's, the tongue of St. George, and I didn't wait. I think that time I was maybe about the second police officer that voted that year for Peter David in 2013. And all those times, Mattis and I was going at it. I think the last time Facebook reminded me of that. Right? Somebody said, I was there since God knows when. I'm with NNP for years. I am still not giving up on my party. Doc all the way. Based on what Mr. Richards would have said, Daniel, isn't he recognized as a Prime Minister of Grenada? If the answer is yes, are you incorrect? If is yes, you're incorrect. All right, Daniel, you're in class, and Carla, if not just telling him, but if you could give him the proper answer, then I think that you can provide him with that. Not just for argument's sake. Sometimes somebody just don't know. I think off my head, I don't think he would be, because I think when Prime Minister Maurice Bishop took office, he was young also. I can't remember his age. Yes, somebody saying, and you all say we Prime Minister would like to ask then, was Maurice Bishop a Prime Minister of Grenada? I think, and somebody, maybe you see, we don't want to, I want to ensure that I get it right, so I like to Google Maurice Bishop. Let me see. I want to believe that. I want to believe that. All right. 1944. I'm not getting that answer here like I want it, but I want to believe that Grenadian Revolution leader, maximum 1979, his earlier years. I can't recall. I really would have liked to, but I think somebody can assist me. That I think I want to. I am subjected to correction there, but I think education in leadership, independence, leader of the opposition in 1976. He was elected the representative to 1979. I can't say his age at that time, because they're not giving me the time of his age. Alright. Maurice Bishop was younger than Deacon. That's a fact. Alright. Oh, so somebody saying Maurice was not elected. Alright. And you see that may cause the contradiction. Because was he recognized as Prime Minister? I think Maurice Bishop was recognized as a Prime Minister, not elected. So if we're saying that Deacon is the youngest elected Prime Minister, I think that brings light. Thank you very much, Anil. I think that brings much more light to the conversation. I think Deacon could be the youngest elected. Right? And then again, we're saying, somebody say he overthrew Uncle Gary. He was not elected. Right? This is facts. He was not elected. Yeah, he was recognized as Prime Minister. So you see, we agree to disagree that he is the youngest elected Prime Minister. He was not the youngest. He's not the youngest serving Prime Minister. Can we agree to disagree on that? Right. So Maurice was not elected. So Deacon Mitchell is the youngest elected Prime Minister, and I think Daniel needs to qualify his statement. Don't just say Deacon is the youngest, right? So we are going to disagree that Maurice Bishop was the youngest serving Prime Minister, while Deacon Mitchell could be the youngest elected Prime Minister. I think we could agree to disagree on that conversation, right? So when you see, when you have conversations like that, you need to, right? So you're agreeing to that. So we can make verification to that, and may our kids understand that. Teach your children this, right? And I'm happy that I brought it up, because I'm going to tell Layla tonight. I'm going to tell my daughter and my son, because she's going to go in CPA. So you see the technicality in the question. You may ask who's the youngest elected Prime Minister, which would be Deacon Mitchell, right? But however, Maurice Bishop is the youngest served prime minister. All right, or serving, I can say served prime minister. So in his time, he was at this. If you compare them in age, he would have been the youngest, though not elected. However, Dickon Mitchell is the youngest elected. All right, so we go in places. Songs about rights, yeah. So we go in places. Conversation, and I want this one to be more not on a political basis. We have learned throughout the years, eyes, green, and gold. What my question is, and this is a question based on ignorance, I don't know, maybe the older heads may assist me. Is eyes, green, and gold the protocol pronunciation when mentioning the colors of the flag, or does it go anywhere? Can you then say red, green, yellow, and red? Can you say green, but is there a proper protocol pronunciation when speaking to the national colors? So I don't know if persons wish to call me. I don't know if persons wish to call me. Somebody saying yellow always in the middle. So it is ice, green. So is it? You see? You see, if you say yellow is always in the middle, are you saying no, it is red, yellow, and green? Or are you saying it is green, yellow, and red? So I don't know, and what I'm saying, I don't know if there is a proper protocol to it. Somebody saying it is red, green, and yellow. Right? As I said, I don't know whether or not there is a proper protocol to it. I don't know whether or not it is something that ought to be said in that manner. Right? Somebody saying red, yellow, and green. So it's red, yellow, and green. Somebody saying, teacher, that baffles me. It's the peoples, especially in the diaspora, they would never say the US flag is blue, white, and red. So, you see, sometimes we adapt certain morals, and unless it becomes a conversation, you never make verification to it. All right? Somebody is saying here again, it is red, green, gold, no yellow. All right? It is red, green, and gold. Sad to say that in this world, because of the internet and some platforms, anything can happen in this time. In this time, people don't mainly go for reality, but by likes and followers, and the youths are easily contradicted, right? Somebody saying it is red, somebody saying it is red, green, and gold. Another person saying it is red, gold, and green, the colors of our flag. Somebody saying that is what we know, red, green, and gold, no yellow. So you see, and I don't know whether or not the person's statement a while ago brings justification to, and it makes sense. But you see, there are times we jump to the internet for things, and we have not established the protocol. Because remember when the Prime Minister won the election, he was P.T. Matney Carrick-One Grenada. Now, is there anything that is protocol that he's saying it wrong? And you see, sometimes we make something an argument or a conversation, not understanding that whether or not, it is what it is. Or are we just saying it most on mediocre or mediocritively? Or it is just going to be a practice that we have, inculcated between the years? Because at this stage, somebody may say, before singing the national anthem, let's say the motto. Would they be wrong? So somebody may say, let's say the motto of Grenada and then sing the national anthem. But is there anything that says that we do the national anthem and then the motto? I want persons to understand what I'm saying. It's not for argument's sake. But you see, even with the 50th anniversary at this stage, these are things that must be clarified and verified. Right? Even when I joined the police force in 2006, I didn't even know where the nutmeg had to be. And I am certain that there are people in Grenada now that is unaware where the nutmeg should be when the flag is being flown. I have seen police officers put the flag upside down already. And supervisors would come and we had a talk that say, look, you turn the country upside down. We used to have it like a humor. But I am certain that there are persons within our country at this stage that is unaware to still what is the protocol, what happens thereafter, everything that contributes to our nation. Is it okay to say the motto, then the anthem? Is it protocol to do the anthem and the pledge? Not the motto, but the pledge. Is it okay to say ice, green, and gold? Is it okay to say green, gold, and ice? Is it okay to say Petit Martinique, Carriacou, and Grenada? You see, those are the things, and you may seem like it. And somebody mentioned the USA. Because there are things, ladies and gentlemen, of national importance. And for those of us who remember the situation with Donald Trump and the whole issue that went on in America, and I've always said to people, I don't care what party that they in power, unless we don't start respecting the botanical gardens, the House of Parliament, and the court in Grenada, someday, God forbid, something breaks out, we have dropped our standard in security for those places. See the House of Parliament? You see the botanical gardens? And the High Court or the Supreme Court in Grenada? We just take this thing in these places and them as joke. When you go to other countries and you see the level of security and the heightened security for those countries, we then understand how important those places are. Telling me you have persons during a strike going up in the gardens, and we laughing, yeah, we support them. This place is the Prime Minister and ministers of government. It takes one disgruntled protester. One. Feel it does take much? One disgruntled protester. Everybody say, well, we're matching because it's our water. And one person with his disgruntledness or hard disgruntledness has a firearm. And at the botanical gardens, a minister of government is maybe just walking out to go into a next office or maybe to his or her vehicle. We as Grenadians will normally look at things and the scratches on the surface and we say, hey, Grenada is a quiet place. Grenada real nice. Somebody on Facebook is saying, I don't know myself, Miss Gloria Payne Banfield will know the protocol. Poor man, he didn't know the order. Ice is not a color, right? The correct way is red, green, and gold. So, ladies and gentlemen, you understand where I'm going with this. This is not for argument purpose. This is not to bash any political side. But look at it. Many persons, and they say, we're still commenting, and we're unaware. You know, those things, and I say, those things in our 50th anniversary, those are things that we should make protocol. The committee and so on, something be written that this is where we headed from now. This is where it goes. Right? And again, even if you all didn't put it in the referendum, I believe in our 50th year of anniversary, one of the things that this party or this administration should have made a zealot effort to push through is including Carriacou and Petit Martinique on our passport. And I'm going to stand by that. I don't care which political party that is there. Right? Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique ought to start to be stamped on our passport. And I don't know whatever legal protocol that has to happen, or should have happened, this is one of the things that should have been unveiled this 50th anniversary. Another suggestion. So if you want to do this year and take the advice this year, next year, try it. Alright? So ladies and gentlemen, again, it is a pleasure, or it would have been a pleasure to have been here with you guys. You guys were a bit interactive in the conversation area, right? And it's happy that, you know, we met at this juncture, right? It's happy that we met at this juncture. Yeah, man. One of the things we should have included in our 50th anniversary, I don't know, that is where we should have a stroke of the pen. That is where we should use the stroke of the pen. You have to ask Grenadians that. I was upset when the referendum asked that question. That's not a question to be asked. Grenada, Carriacou, Petite Martinique should be on the stamp. You stamping something Grenada, Carriacou, Petite Martinique on our passport should be labeled Grenada, Carriacou, Petite Martinique. We are a trial state, and every formal document ought to show that. Just in whether we are trial state, let documents show that. Let our documents show that. Hirelings Promotion together with Graphic Song and 3A Production, they presents to you Rep Your Country's Color, that is on February 7th, about the embassy. Go and be a part of this one. That it's only costing $70. Wear your national colors. On Friday, the 9th of February, we are on the basketball court in Victoria in St. Mark's, where the Sunset City Spice Bread Food Festival will take place. It is where you would get at least 80 to 90% of the products that would be there would be made from our local fruit, as breadfruit. All right, so be a part of this one and go enjoy. Brendan Trent's Promotion, they present ice, green, and gold. You understand this? Ice, green, and gold. The 50th Independence Cruise that will be taking place on the 4th, February the 4th. So go be part of this one. Also, Sailors Promotion present Bingo and Dance that would be at the Fusion Restaurant and Bar that is located in Current Big Yard. Bingo tickets is only $20. Starting time 6 p.m. for bingo. However, the event starts at 3 p.m. All right, I would be your host in that.
Are you having problems with pain?
So, ladies and gentlemen, somebody saying civics should be taught in school. I believe, and I believe that there's a lot of history that I gained as a young man through conversations more than school. I'm going to be honest with you. There are a lot of conversations, even at the age that I'm at, that I learned through normal conversations. No one person saying this is that in schools. And I honestly believe our country's history culturally needs to be taught. Local culture is very, very far from the mind. We know the Grenada Revolution has all its contradictions, but there are things that I think that must be marked. Right? I remember in a recent conversation, in an argument at the Market Square, with some friends and I, the question was asked, where was Regional 1? That is it? Or Region 1, something like that. A question was posed like that, Region 1 or something like that. And it was an area during the revolution that I think that housed soldiers, right? And it is nothing wrong in that being taught. You know, I don't see nothing wrong, because you would want to know for state purpose, right? There are persons, we are at Tourism Island, and there are time persons ask questions, and it would be nice, and sometimes I feel proud of myself when they ask me questions, and I can go and they ask me one thing, and based on how I know it, I'm giving them a lot more than what they ask me. All right. Far as I can see, only one color the flag have, and is yellow. Everything pertaining to independence is yellow, black, and white. Does anyone know if King Klong would be in the stadium on February 7th? Ladies and gentlemen, as per usual, it was a pleasure being here with you guys, and God's blessings to each and every one of you. Again, tomorrow we will be here for another wonderful evening. I am wondering whether or not, and I am seeing her best, and I think that the audience that I'm getting on an evening time, like around now, may differ, because I really want to start giving persons the opportunity to listen to Sister Jenny's program, right? So I don't know if on Thursdays I would starting the program at least 6:30, right? Or maybe 6:15, because sometimes I know Sister Jenny, when she get hot, she goes all the way over, right? So I normally want to give persons the opportunity to listen in. You know, there might be information that you may not get from me and may get from her, right? So I want persons to get that opportunity. All right, so God's blessings to each and every one of you. Have yourself a wonderful, wonderful evening. All right, we will see you again tomorrow. I'm yours truly, Royalty James, signing out for another wonderful evening. All right.
Are you having problems with pain? Well, we've got the solution. Use Nut Magic Pain Reliever today and feel the pain fade away. Nut Magic Pain Reliever is produced right here in Grenada by Black Hole Enterprise and can be used for the relief of sore muscle, joint pain, cramps, backaches, arthritis, and other related symptoms. It's magic in a bottle. You can find Nut Magic Pain Reliever at major pharmacies and supermarkets on the island. Call or WhatsApp Black Gold Enterprise at 458-1330. Look for Nut Magic Pain Reliever on Facebook and on Instagram, or send us an email at bgegrenada@gmail.com. Get yours today and say goodbye to pain. It's magic in a bottle.
It's magic.
San Fernando! Greetings in the name of Olodumare, the one living God. Our nation needs purge. So we had a call on the ancestors. Mother Cherry, oh, la poesía.
Shango la poesía.
Yeah, yeah, Mother Cherry, oh, Baba la poesía.
Shango la poesía.
Oh, yeah, Mother Cherry, oh, la poesía. Shango.
Shango la poesía.
Yeah, yeah, Mother Cherry, oh, la poesía.
Shango la poesía.
Ding, 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 ding. Yes, I have heard that my ancestors was from Nigeria, and that is why I'm carrying the name Osuna. Deep inside of me, I just wasn't satisfied. So I did some soul searching and asked myself, who am I? Then I found out John African was my great-grandfather, and he was from an African tribe called Yoruba. The Dolly's from Fairboat Village, yes, that was my great-aunt. So in the name of Orisha, I greet you all with a chant. Yeah, Shango Baba Wa, Shango Olodo Karele, Shango Baba Wa Olodo Kabile Sio. Hey,
Shango Baba Wa, Shango Olodo Karele, Shango Baba Wa Olodo Kabile Sio.
day, 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 day. La 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 day, la day. I discover my religious practice is Orisha, with the help of deceased Wilson, grand and sister. Through their spiritual efforts, I have found the truth. Thanks to Olodumare, I'm standing firm on my roots. Now that I know me calabash, me oil and me hobby, These were just some of the things taken from me. So when you see me in peace, I'm not looking for Obia. No sir, I come to chant and pay my respects to the Orisha. Ah, Shango Baba Wa, Shango Lodo Karele, Shango Baba Wa, Olodo Kabile Sio. Play the drum. Shango Baba Wa, Shango Lodo Karele, Shango Baba Wa, Olodo Kabile Sio. Ding 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 la la ding ding ding. I discover my passion is Oshun and Osa. I must have a simple Shango and Jaja. Through manifestation I could reach the other side to meet with my ancestors and visit the river Nile. With a voice like that great archangel, I could touch your soul, both spiritual and carnal. I could bring you transportation to Africa. I am an Orisha priest, they call me the Amungwa. Hey, Shango Baba Wa, Shango Lodo Karele, Shango Baba Wa, Olodo Kabile Sio. Hey, Shango Baba Wa. In the street, when people stop to congratulate me, commenting on how much yes, the judges them robbed me. What the judges did to me didn't mean a thing, because I knew long before last year I was born a king. So when I sing Kaiso, that's to feed my family. But when I sing Orisha, it's to pay homage to my deity. Alado ye abakuso, that's my tribal cry. I'm so proud I could stand and explain to you who am I. I Shango Baba Wa, Shango Lodo Karele, Shango Baba Wa, Olodo Kabile Sio. Hey, Shango Baba Wa, ding ding ding, Shango Baba Wa, Shango Baba Wa, Olodo Kabile Sio. Ah, Shango Baba Wa, Shango Lodo Karele, Shango Baba Wa, Olodo Kabile Sio. Sing the thing. Shango Baba Wa, Shango Lodo Karele, Shango Baba Wa, Olodo Kabile Sio. Ay 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 ay, Shango Baba Wa, Shango Lodo Karele, Shango Baba Wa, Olodo Kabile Sio. Hey, Shango Baba Wa, Shango Lodo Karele, Shango Baba Wa, Olodo Kabile Sio. Ah, Shango Baba Wa, Shango Lodo Karele, Shango Baba Wa, Olodo Kabile Sio. Shango Baba Wa, Shango Lodo Karele, Shango Baba Wa, Olodo Kabile Sio.